welcome. Right? We don't want you watching your phone and trying to watch YouTube or load this or do that. You can go right to radiobry.com and the player's right there. So you can listen to the audio while you're busy negotiating traffic, hanging out in line at the grocery store, doing just about whatever it is you do for your lunch break. We're thrilled to be along with you. So that's the benefit of just going to Radio Bry, RADIOBRI.com, and you can hear everything live there. Thank you. However you're coming to us, thank you so very much. And if you're listening to the rebroadcast on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, all the biggies, thank you so very much. And we hope you're enjoying today's show. Although I guess it's easier to say what will be today's show. Let me say hello to Miss Putnam. Ms. Putnam, thank you for jumping in right away. Before we get to our opening segment, Wayne, I love this segment, so why don't we go ahead and hit it? The question begs to be asked, so we will. Twitter, a bird of prey, a voracious raptor, or a little Tweety bird? You make the call. Depends on what your bent is, right? It all depends. If you think one way, I guess they're a bird of prey. I love that raptor sound, right? And if not, then you're, it's a little Tweety bird. Oh, let's just come here and all sing Kumbaya. Which reminds me of the movie Animal House when that one guy was playing on the stairs, Kumbaya, and Bellucci grabs his guitar and smashes it all to pieces. Right, that's Twitter's version of Kumbaya. Right, so in any event, if you're new or if you're not caught up this week, let me just say that in standing up for the New York Post, as long as Twitter has decided they're going to block the New York Post account. Now, as you've heard me say before, it doesn't matter whether you believe the story is true or you believe it's fake news. My opinion, our opinion here at the Brian Brawdy Show is that Twitter shouldn't have the right. They're supposedly a platform, given all kinds of protections as a platform. It's not up to them to edit. It's not up. And please, just keep the hate mail coming. Keep the hate tweets coming. If I have one more person, Wayne, say to me, well, they're a private company. They can do what they do. Please, right? You can't find a refrigerator to stick your head in, right? Go get something to eat. Because the protections that they get, the shield liability that they get, right, is a platform they have to act a certain way. Well, they're not acting that way. I can't wait for that liability shield to go away so that I don't have to hear from people saying, oh, well, Brian, oh, they're a private company. They can do whatever they want. Annoying. It makes my skin crawl when I have to handle those. I bet you don't know, Wayne, I actually recorded that video. That's a real live recording of mosquitoes. And I think it was about the bite rate of 4,000 a minute in the Everglades in Florida. I took my headlamp, taped the microphone to it, stuck it to the top of the tent, and those mosquitoes were going crazy trying to get in. At one point overnight, I fell asleep and my feet were up against, I must have rolled over. My feet were up against the end of the tent and the mosquitoes, I woke up because they were swollen. The mosquitoes were biting the bottom of my feet. So whenever I hear someone say, oh, it's a private company, they can do what they want. It always reminds me of having to listen to these brainiacs, right? All their opinions, they can do whatever they want. Private company. Whatever. Tired of hearing it. Well, in any event, we're going to read the top 3 stories every day to kick off the Brian Brawdy Show, every day that we're here in defense of the New York Post, right? We're going to read the top 3 stories and show Twitter. Now, look, we're nowhere near the size of Twitter, and we're nowhere near the size of the New York Post. But did you know they're the 4th largest media Twitter feed out there? The 4th largest, the New York Post. And little Jackie, I already forget his name, Jack LaLanne. No, that's not it. Jack. What is his name over at Twitter? Jack.
I can't remember his last name.
I can't remember it either. It's not Jack LaLanne, but some other.
I mean, we
right?
all have names that we call him, but.
Yeah, right. Like little Jack over at Twitter deciding he can block him down. So we're not going to let that happen. Now, top story, is we're going to read the first 3 every day. Top story, Wayne, I want to try to get to it before the break. Horrifying video shows a man, well, that's arguable, shows a crap weasel dump pregnant girlfriend's body on the Queens Expressway. Now, if you're not familiar with New York, Queens Expressway or the highway system is such. So here's the thing, Wayne, I want to talk to you about it. We need to go back. There used to be a time where I had a segment in the show that we called Return to Vendor because some DNA just has to go back. Well, now I got a tweet a little bit ago that the chief of detectives for NYPD shows they posted a video of the suspect yanking the body 29 out of a light colored vehicle and leaving her on the ground, showing getting back into the driver's seat before the video cuts off. Yeah, he got back in the driver's seat so he could get his first aid manual. He got back in the driver's seat and drove away, this crap weasel. So we need a return to vendor because there's some DNA, Wayne, that just needs to go back. Your time's up here in life. In the outdoor retailing world, for those of you that follow me and remember those days, right? If a product didn't work, you return that product to vendor. Well, this guy, and they've got him, his DNA needs to go back. So if everyone wants to interpret that as my interpretation of whether we should have the death penalty or not, here's a guy on camera. They subsequently get him. And because he didn't want to have to deal with his pregnant girlfriend, he kills her and leaves her. Now, I'd be calling for this guy's head if he left his dog alongside of the road, especially the Queens Expressway, right? But he leaves the body of his pregnant girlfriend dead alongside of the road. And now here's what's so interesting to me. For everyone thinking of doing something the same thing, one of the other reasons that I think we need to return to a vendor segment, some DNA just needs to go back. Your time's up. No way we can wait around for you to procreate. He does it right underneath the camera. So here's a public service announcement from the Brian Brawdy Show. If you're going to decide to leave anything alongside a highway in a major city, pretty good chance they got a camera watching you, jackass. That's the number one story. Horrifying video showing a man. Obviously, our heart goes out to the family. But can you imagine, Wayne? Yeah, I'm all over it. All right, second one. Philly in crisis. At least 30 cops injured in mob attack during the riots. Now, apparently, Wayne, what happened here was that, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do our quick, we'll run to our quick little thing, and then we'll come back and we'll do segment number 2 of the New York Post so we can smack Twitter around a little bit.
The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent.
And the first guest should be me. My opinion. You're not a fan of the death penalty. You're welcome to keep that opinion. I happen to be. You got a guy on videotape, later confesses, makes all kinds of incriminating statements to killing his pregnant girlfriend and leaving her body alongside of the road. You're a return to vendor winner for the day. Some DNA just needs to go back, and you're the one. And if you people don't have the courage to do it, just call me. I'm sure we can work it in to our schedule. You don't kill somebody. You don't kill a pregnant woman. You don't kill anybody and leave their body along the side of the road. All right, second story that we're talking about today, at least 30 Philadelphia cops injured during riots over a police shooting of Walter Wallace. Now, Wayne, this is always kind of tricky whenever we start talking about this kind of stuff. This is always a little tricky because here's the thing. Apparently, they kept telling the deceased to drop the knife. Drop the knife, drop the knife, drop the knife. And this, of the original, right, before the riots last night in Philly, before all this, it was sparked by the suspect coming at police, apparently, with a knife. And the police said, hey, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. I don't know how many times. I haven't, you know what I mean? We're talking more about the footage of the riots. But they told this gentleman to drop the knife. He refused to do it. Now, it says here that the video of Wallace's fatal shooting showed him walking towards officers as they had their guns aimed at him, refusing to back away before being shot. His father claims he was hit 10 times. So he's got a knife, right? And you know, Wayne, I have a little different opinion of this. You got somebody with a knife. Yes, it can be life-threatening. Yes, it can be dangerous. but you learn how to take a knife away from someone. I had someone one time with a machete. You learn how to take it away from them. That said, if you're carrying a deadly weapon, and I don't know if you know this, Wayne, but according to the FBI, what's called the Uniform Crime Reports, more people are killed every year by knives, kitchen steak knives. You get what I'm going with this. More people are killed every year by knives than are handguns. But you don't have people going out and saying, look, we got to get rid of Cutco. We got to get rid of Ginsu. Anyone that has a knife in their home, we got to get rid of them. So here's another public service announcement I didn't realize we would do too. If you're confronted by a group of armed police officers and you think it's a good idea to move towards them with the knife, at least drop the knife, right? That's all I'm saying. Drop the knife. And our third story today from the New York Post, Democrats threaten court upheaval after the Amy Coney Barrett confirmation. So the Republicans, little upset, I guess you could say, Wayne, to say the least, little upset. So what gets me, and what I can't figure out through all of this, what gets me is their threat of retaliation, right? They're not happy with the outcome. So they're telling people you're going to regret it. We're going to do this. We're going to do that when we get in power, right? Like that's what we want. Nancy Pelosi and Chucky, little Chucky, darkest night in the history of the world, darkest night in the history of the world, Schumer. We want them controlling everything. That's a great idea. But what gets me, Wayne, is that all they do is threaten. All they do is like little kids. If you don't get your way, right? You're going to go home. You're going to take your ball and go home. If you can't get it to go your way, you're going to threaten retaliation. You're going to threaten, it's going to be different when we stack the court. It's going to be different when we do this. It's going to be different when we do that. And that's why we titled today's show, Open Your Eyes. Listen, for me, it doesn't matter what political party you vote for. Just realize that we're being played, right? We're being played in all of it. So just make certain that's what you really want. That's something that's important to you, to allow yourself to be played by a puppet. Because these brainiacs, and it's Coon, and we're going to talk about Representative Coon or Senator Coon, is it? Where's Chris Coon? He's probably a senator, I would think. Senator Chris Coons, a Democrat Coons, a Democrat from Delaware, along with Chucky Schumer, probably Cory Spartacus Booker, Blumenthal, Nancy Pelosi. Everybody's upset. Well, they're going to threaten. They're bullying. We're going to retaliate. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. So that's just my take on the top three stories in the New York Post for today. Rounding out our, hey, we're going to stand up for you. If Twitter plans on being that way, we're going to stand up for the New York Post as long as it takes. We'll be doing that every day here at the Brian Brawdy Show. All right, Wayne, let's get to our next segment, and it's a fun one. You know how much I love this. Speaking of return to vendor, but this isn't that segment. This is a brand new segment. Wayne, let's hit it. Lowlifes making headlines, or as we like to call it around here, brains that make your blood boil. Here's your brittle brain atop a balsa wood spine for today. Your brittle brain atop a balsa wood spine for today, and you get to vote. Used to be, we'd say, head on over to mortalup.com and cast your vote. I don't know if we're doing that anymore, Wayne, are we?
No,
Is that even a thing?
we pulled it down.
So we took it down. All right, so we're just going to pick this. Today's lowlife making headlines. Now, this comes with a bit of explanation, right, Wayne?
Yep.
So let me just explain this a little bit. Our lowlifes making headlines for today, Senator Richard Blumenthal or retired four-star Army crapweasel Stanley McChrystal. Now, here's the reason. Senator Blumenthal last night saying, and in his speech for the ACB, for all of it, last night saying, well, you know, it's important that people tell the truth. We're going to go after the people that broke their word. We're going to go after the people that lied. And I found myself going, wait a minute. What did he just say, Wayne? And I'm like, whoa. This is the guy, after receiving I think it was 4 or 5 different deferments to serve. He was the one bragging to a group of veterans what it was like in Vietnam, and he lied. This is the guy giving me a lesson on telling the truth. This is the guy telling me how important it is to be honorable. This guy who got all the deferments to go from Vietnam, but then when it was advantageous to him, decides to stand up in front of a group of people and go, well, back in the day when I was in Vietnam, you're a liar, pal. And you can put the name senator in front of your name all you want. You're a liar and you're a crap weasel. And for all of you that voted for him that don't like it, tough luck. Because once again, we should just record this, Wayne, so I have it be like angels, right? A cloud's opening. Woo! Once again, I couldn't care less about your opinion. I mean, literally, there's no way I could care less about your opinion. All right, so now let's move along to Stanley. Geez, well, I've had a change of heart, McChrystal. 4-star General McChrystal. Now, you may remember this stand-up guy, right, that does the Rolling Stones article, and we wanted to interview the author of that article, but he mysteriously died in a one-car explosive car crash, except there were no skid marks, right? He just happened to make, in any event, you should read the report about it so you can come to your own conclusion. But Stan McChrystal is there when they do the interview, and they call Joe Biden, and one of his assistants in the room at the time says, oh, you mean Joe Bite Me? And Stanley laughs and shakes his head affirmatively, right? Joe Bite Me. Now, Stanley Crystal turns around and says, well, I'm going to endorse Joe Biden for president. Great. But all I'm asking is, when you wanted to make fun of him as Joe Bite Me, didn't have any trouble there. But now that you're out, now that you were able to save your skin and your 4 stars, right? Now you come out, and let me guess, your opinion is supposed to be important to me? Your opinion is supposed to matter to me? I don't understand, Wayne. You get these military types, right? You get these military types that come out, and they go, well, here's what I think should happen. Yeah, that's right. Let the pig. There you go. Yeah, let the pig have his full, let's do the full run of it. You get these ex-military types come out that thought one way, and now, because they want a position in the administration, they turn around and come out and go, oh, yes, forget everything I said to be fired. Forget that I was called in to the Oval Office to be reprimanded. Forget that I resigned before they could fire me. Forget all of that, you crap weasel. And here's another thing that I'm onto. When they say, now, you and I both know, Wayne, that a president can't reverse the Second Amendment. All right, let's get to that. Wayne, we got something to do, and then we'll be right back with this.
Portions of this broadcast have been pre-recorded.
Why? Because you can't get these people to hit a call time. They're the worst. Nah, I'm just kidding. We love our guests. We absolutely do love our guests. But some of the portions are pre-recorded. We'll always let you know with that and say, oh, no, this was pre-recorded. All right, but here we go. What just gripes me about these military types? And I had to say goodbye to someone on LinkedIn this morning because they go, oh, if you don't like me posting a picture of Joe Biden holding the face of a small black child, then you just don't know what life is all about. Why don't you just go ahead and leave? And I was like, the screen door could not catch me faster in the ass than it did for that move. So in any event, Wayne, here's the thing. As president of the United States, you can't just go, I'm done with the Second Amendment. You can make life rough, but is everyone listening? I hope everyone listening knows that it takes 2/3 of the state to ratify. I mean, there's a big deal. So what do they try to do? They say, oh, we're going to stack the court. We'll get the Supreme Court to invalidate certain parts of the Second Amendment. They're screaming bloody murder, talking about a pig squeal. Right? Screaming bloody murder when you try to invalidate the unconstitutional portions of Obamacare, right? The Affordable Care Act. Screaming when you try to invalidate certain portions of that law, if you believe that it's true. That's not what we're discussing. But they're all over invalidating certain portions of the Second Amendment. Now, even though that Joe Biden has come out and said, we need to totally revamp, right? He didn't say, I'm going to take your guns. He didn't say that. But what he did say puts him contrary, in my estimation, to the Constitution. So, Wayne, if I can ask you, how is it that all these ex-military types that want you to believe that they're a badass, right?
Mm-hmm.
How is it these ex-military types who took an oath to protect the Constitution against enemies, foreign and domestic, get out and they're like, oh, amnesia. What? I don't, what are you talking about? What?
Well,
What? I'm supposed to defend the Constitution? So that's why today, Wayne, if you'll throw it back up, our lowlifes making headlines, is it's going to be down to you all. You'll let us know. We'll decide. We'll announce the winner tomorrow. Senator Richard, I got a 5-time deferment, but when I wanted to get elected, I told the vets there that I had served in Vietnam. Blumenthal or Stanley, I did everything I could to protect my 4 stars and quit before they could fire me. McChrystal, there you have it. Our 2 lowlifes making headlines for today. And although we no longer have the ability to vote over on mortalup.com, we're going to do it all right here in the show, which means at the bottom of the hour, you can give us a call or you can text us 833-667-8251, 833-MORTAL, mortal, and the numeral 1. You can text us your answer. Let us know, and Wayne will endeavor to get out the Lowlifes Making Headlines certificate to the winners. How hard can they be to find, right, Wayne?
Easy to find.
Easy to find. All right. So I had mentioned earlier, and we can't add everybody in Lowlifes Making Headlines, right, Wayne? It would be too crowded. You can't get enough faces on the logo. So, but let me just take the time to mention a former winner. Now, Wayne, what is it? Hirono from Hawaii?
Oh, yeah.
Senator. Yeah, she must be a senator. So this grandstanding little thing decides to, on live TV last night, as did not all of them. I'm not saying it about all of the senators, but a good number of them decided to grandstand because they knew they were on camera. They decided to stand up, walk up, point a thumbs down. Wayne, if I could have the camera back, point a thumbs down. And then what does this brainiac, what does this cutting edge intellect have to say when she's pointing her thumbs down? Oh, hell no. Now, everyone, with the exception of Susan Collins, I believe it was, a Democrat from Maine, every Democrat voted against her. Now, I'm not a huge fan of legislation by robes. I'm really not, right? Because that's what everyone's counting on. Let's get the Supreme Court. Look, here's a little history lesson for those that you may not know, that may not know this. Supreme Court was never intended to be the most powerful branch. It was, right? That's why you tune in to watch a fight with Mike Tyson and whoever. The most powerful person in the ring isn't the referee. Supreme Court's just supposed to be a referee. If you don't like a law, they tell you, and then the House and the Senate and the president working together are supposed to change that law. But government by robes, government by the people going in and saying, well, we'll fix their wagon. It's not your job. Amy, Neil, Roberts, whatever you call yourselves, whatever your names are, it's not your job. It's up to the legislative branch to come up with the law. You, as a referee, just go, yeah, well, you missed the mark there. But we're not going to legislate from the bench. We're just going to give you a standing 10 count and send it back so that you can make it right. So regardless of all that, here's all these Democrats last night parading up, and Hirono makes a name, like Blumenthal and some of the other ones walking up, and here's what grates me. They think the camera's on them. The camera's not on them. It's like a little drone camera up in the top of the rafters of the Senate chambers. You could barely tell who it was, especially in all their masks. Barely tell who it was, other than the fact that they announced their name, and these grandstanders, the list of usual suspects. What's the guy? Barry Sanders, Hirono, bunch of other ones walk up, give the thumbs down. But Hirono, this cutting edge intellect, right? This brainiac decides to walk up, say, hell no, and give a thumbs down. Oh, wow, you're just so, and then walk right out of the chamber. Like, we could give a crap where you walk to after you cast your vote. Oh, you poor little thing. Oh, it didn't go your way. We're heartbroken for you. We're heartbroken. Would you like a tissue? Would you like a safe space? Safe space? Can't even say it without smiling. You know what I mean? Did you watch any of that, Wayne?
Yeah. And you know what's funny is I just went back and relooked at that video of
Which
her,
one?
of her saying hell no.
Yeah.
You can hardly even hear her say it.
Well, because she's got a mask on, though. But look,
Yeah.
I wish talk about a muffle. Let me put this straight. I think the masks of some of the senators, some of the members of the House of Representatives, some of the candidates running for office across the country, I think the masks are the single greatest thing that ever happened to muffle their voice. Because they're Meshuggah. They're crazy. Who the hell wants to hear them in the first place?
Well, I actually believe that they should come up with muzzles for these people.
I do. Although, defending the First Amendment right to free speech, even these crap weasels get to have an opinion, right?
Well,
Right?
that's part of the problem. They get
Right.
to have an opinion, but nobody else does.
Right. Well, and let me say this. Somebody elects them. Like, I think to myself all the time about our good friend, Hank Johnson. You remember Crank and Hank?
Yep.
Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Because, if we put too many military vehicles on Guam, the island's going to tip over.
Yep.
So that was eye-opening for me. Talk about open your eyes. That was eye-opening for me, Wayne, because we keep electing these people. You and I are the blame. Right?
Well, and
we enable them.
That's the interesting part. If you sit down and look at this election, depending on what happens,
Sure.
the people that vote in Biden and continue to re-vote in these state representatives and city representatives and city mayors,
Right.
if they're going to go ahead and continue to vote the same people in, then stop your crying. Stop your whining.
Yeah.
Accept the fact that you put them in there and this is what you wanted. This is what you asked for.
Yep. I'm with you.
You know,
Right? You get what you paid for. You get what you voted for. And if a majority of the people that are alive, now, we're not slamming the people, the unregistered voters that have already died, right?
Mm-hmm.
Used a Ouija board to vote. Oh, you know what? I know we got to run to the bottom of the hour. Let's do this. And then remind me, if you would, Wayne, to tell everyone why I couldn't care less about Ruth Bader Ginsburg's dying wish. Oh, help me. Let's run to the bottom. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Brian Brawdy Show. Why? Because you know the truth when you hear it. He'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Brian Brawdy Show, brought to you by our good friends at Counterpunch Media and Certifiable Brilliance. It's time to buckle up. All right, time to buckle up. Let's get back quickly. Wayne's going to open the phone lines here in just a moment. You're welcome to text us 833-667-8251. Comment on the feed over at Spitter. Comment on the feed over at YouTube. As I thank our sponsors, Counterpunch Media and Certifiable Brilliance. And, I keep saying, one day I got to get the commercial for Certifiable Brilliance. We'll load it in. But so Certifiable Brilliance is the exact opposite of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. So here's the reason why. Now, this is going to cost me all kinds of people. But again, Wayne, and this is the disclaimer we should come up with. Disclaimer, I don't give a crap about what you think, about my opinions. I care more or less about what you think about your opinions, but I couldn't care less about what you think about my opinions. So here's Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Now, to me, Wayne, can I tell you what it comes down to?
Sure thing.
Okay, so here's the thing with RBG. When she was alive, she used her words to say, that a president is the president for the whole 24 hours, right? So we have Ruth Bader Ginsburg saying on camera while she's alive, you don't ask the president to stop before the end of his term, to stop being, or her term. You don't ask them to stop before their term's up. Now, some lunatic granddaughter or daughter, whoever it was, says, well, her dying wish was that the Supreme Court seat should be filled by the next president, which is going to be wild if Trump wins, right, Wayne? Because, well, she got her wish, right? But here's the thing. So we're supposed to use a Ouija board. Ignore her words while she was alive. We're supposed to use like a voodoo doll, some tea leaves, maybe write some candles, right? Like set up a little altar. And now we're supposed to ignore her words while she was alive, but we go right to the Ouija board and say, oh, well, my dying wish was that we throw out the Constitution. My dying wish is that you ignore everything I said while I was alive. Did she or did she not? And if I'm wrong, Wayne, please, now would be the time to tell me. Did she not say that the president is president for the full shift?
Yes, she did.
Oh, but now we're supposed to believe a family member that says, well, her dying wish. Even if you wanted to believe it, could you raise your hand if you could care? Constitution wasn't set up for dying wishes. Just before we came on air, Wayne, I went ahead, loaded up the Constitution. You know, I have one of those apps, loaded up the Constitution and put in the search term dying wish.
It's not there.
Last breath. Not there. Oddly enough, wasn't there. Go think it. So if you search the Constitution, and for the hell of it, I threw in the Bill of Rights. Guess what's not in?
Nope.
Dying wish. Can't find it anywhere in the document. So please take this to heart when I say I couldn't care less about your opinion. That's exactly what I mean. I care about her opinion, her words, when she was alive, not the Ouija board that everyone wants us to use after she's passed away. All right, Wayne, what do you say? Let's go ahead and open the phone lines.
The phone lines are open. Now's your chance to mortal up and give Brian a shout because your opinion deserves to be heard. Dial toll-free 1-833-MORTAL-1. That's 833-MORTAL-1.
All right, give us a holler. Don't forget, you can also text us at that number, 833-667-8251. 833-MORTAL. Thank you, Wayne, very much. It's up on the screen. For those of you that are viewing, Wayne's already put it in the feed as well. 833-MORTAL-1. We'd love to hear what you think. Because as it's true, what I said before, Wayne, I couldn't care any less about thumbs up or a thumbs down when it comes to my opinion. I couldn't care. But I am absolutely thrilled, honored to have the opinion of people, whether they agree or disagree with me, right?
Absolutely.
But here's my bottom line. We talk all the time about wing sauce. Here's my bottom line before we get to jousting with journalists, which today is going to be huge. Going to be huge. We'll be there in just a couple minutes. But jousting with journalists. Here's my bottom line. I think we're being played by both sides. And I'm simply suggesting that we open our eyes and just make sure we're being played the way that best suits us. Right? That's all I'm suggesting. That we're in line, not so much with the cult of personality, as I said last week, but that the actual politics, the actual policy, does it support and nurture what we believe to be true? That's all I'm suggesting. I happen to be a fan of the Constitution. Now, there'll be friends of mine that are like, we need to tear up the Constitution. We need to tear up what's been done to the Constitution. And it's not a perfect document. But I don't think we should be tearing up the Bill of Rights. I don't think we should be saying no more First Amendment, no more Second Amendment, no more protections. Unless, of course, we're talking about the protections for Twitter and Mug Pamphlet, then I say, let's tear those up right away. Look, guys, you're not a platform. Dorsey is his last name. Little Jackie Dorsey. Right, Wayne? Little Jack Doorstop. You're not a platform. If you're editing people's speech, they need to remove your protections. And you want to vote for something? You want to vote for something with merit? Vote for the politician that says, I'll get in there and I'll fight day one till my last day. I'll fight to remove the protections. Forget about the corporate money. Forget about big tech. Forget about all the lobbyists. Wayne, can I ask you a quick question? Because,
Sure.
I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. Can you explain to me why it is the wealthiest enclave in all of the country is in and around Washington, D.C., where all the politicians and all the lobbyists live? Since everything's above board, right? Biden's never taken any money, right? Bunter Hyden isn't guilty of anything. And we're going to get to that with jousting with journalists. Bunter Hyden isn't guilty of anything nefarious. How is it that the wealthiest county in the country is in and around D.C.? Oh, nothing to see here, Bry.
Yeah, that's what happens when
Open
you
your eyes.
congregate a bunch of politicians.
Think about it. Career politicians for certain.
Oh, absolutely.
Career politicians for certain. So that's what's so troubling to me. I think, we talk about hitting the arrow on the head. We talk about opening your eyes. It's just that. Pay attention to what it is that's being done to us. All right, Wayne, I know we got to run to a quick little thing. We're going to come back. I want to get into jousting with journalists, alleged journalists. So the phone lines are tied up, are they? Well, you're welcome to leave us a message. And because your voice deserves to be heard, we just might play the recording on air. So sit up straight, take a deep breath, belt it out, and let us know what you're thinking. All right. Well, we could record your voice, so give us a holler if you want. 833-MORTAL, the numeral 1. And, of course, the hieroglyphics of it, 833-667-8251. At our toll-free number, you can call or text. All right, Wayne, because I listened to a great interview last night by the Wall Street Journal's Kim Strassel, and that's what kind of sparked this in me. So before, as you know, my favorite segment is the Mortal Up segment. But before we get to that part of the hour, can we please go ahead and cue a segment that I'm growing to love? Jousting with journalists. And I'm sorry, Wayne, I thought I had recorded some audio for that. So I guess I didn't. All right, my fault. Jousting with journalists. Oh, and look, there's little Jimmy accosted from the Circus News Network. Some people from MSNBC, some C-Scam, Spitter. See a Playboy reporter in the audience there. I see okay, so jousting with journalists. Here's the thing that came to me last night after Kim Strassel's report. For every journalist, Chris Hayes would be one. All the people at, as I said, the Circus News Network and MSNBC, C-Scam. The laundry list. We don't have to mention the names. There's too many. We were going to do Maleficent 7 and load in all the names of all these talk show mannequins masquerading as intellects, saying, oh, this is just an attempt. The whole Bunter Hyden story is just an attempt to malign one campaign over the other, is just an attempt to smear. There's nothing to see here. Well, Kim Strassel did a great job of saying, no, there really is something to see here. We have the laptop, we have the documents, we have people corroborating the documents. I mean, look, anyone else that's an ex-cop that knows how to conduct an investigation, please raise your hand. Anybody? 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 Or, as my brother reminded me over the weekend, who was it? Brad Pitt. Talk about another. We got to make him a lowlife making headlines sometime. Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt going, is there no one else? Right after he slays that guy in the opposing army. Is there no one else? So that's my question. Anybody here ever conducted a criminal investigation? Raise your hand. Anyone here responsible for conducting a criminal investigation that later had to go to trial to convict a felon? Please. Step free. Or text us. You're welcome to text us. There could be someone here. You're welcome to text us, Wayne. Well, here's the thing. They got all kinds of evidence. Everyone, the Federal Bureau of Incompetence, everyone's a huge fan. Everyone says, oh, well, yeah, let's just throw it over to the FBI. They'll conduct an investigation. Well, what if they did? What if everyone's jockeying for position in what the bookies are now going to call the next administration, or now calling the next administration? Right? Oh. Fine. Well, look, you can't have it. You can't have it your way every day. Somebody's going to lose here in about a week. But here's the bottom line. They have the evidence. They have at least enough evidence to go to trial with it. So all the people screaming, hollering, carrying on, whining like little babies. Oh, it's just a smear campaign. Oh, you can't rely on that. Oh, there's no way this could be true. Well, it is. If you believe the evidence, if you believe the laptop, if you believe the corroborating witnesses, it most certainly is true. Now, if you choose not to want to let that in to your vote coming up, that's totally your call. Absolutely your call. I'm not here to change your mind about who you're going to vote for like there's anybody left. What I'm simply suggesting is when the evidence adds up. What's that old saying, Wayne? When it walks like a duck and swims like a duck, smells like a duck, you got yourself a duck?
Yep.
How much evidence do you want? Oh, it's just a smear campaign. Little Chris Hayes or whatever his name is over there at MSNBC. Oh, it's just a smear campaign. All the brainiacs on daytime talk coming on, right? All the overly maked up mannequins masking as intellects. Oh, it's just a smear campaign. Smear. Wayne, did you ever wonder how they all seem to be using the same words, almost like on cue? Did you ever wonder about that? These independent journalists all coming up with the same terminology? How could that be?
Because they stand there and listen to each other talk.
They stand there and listen to each other talk, or one party over another is giving them their talking points.
Yep.
All right, which, now that we talk about that, let me just throw this in quickly since in our 5 minutes. I want to play this little audio for us. This is something that we promised last week, but we're working on it. Wayne just works around the clock. We're working to get this done, but I wanted to share this audio with you to give you an idea of one of the segments we're working on. And this would be great, Wayne, right? To be a fly on the wall in some of these newsrooms. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That's right. Anyone ever had a job to sit in a newsroom when they decide how to craft the story they're going to run with? Raise your hand. Anybody? Bueller. Anybody? Raise your hand. Ever been a television reporter for a major network, owned and operated station, when you had to craft the story before it went on there? Anybody? Oh, no? Well, okay. Well, there you go. So to me, Wayne, when they get their talking points, when they come up with an idea, that's why it just seems to take off like wildfire. But in any event, here's what we're working on coming up probably next week, given the time now. But here's something to think about. Welcome to the Dimwit Dialogues. Thick-headed and thin-skinned? Well, that's not a way to go through life. The very latest from the files of mannequins masquerading as intellects. More proof that the drama kings and queens of the delicate doily world are using their heads solely as a hat rack, spewing dogma so deranged. You better bring a hazmat suit if you decide to pick it up. So that's what we're working on, right, Wayne?
Yeah.
And what are we thinking about that as I get caught taking a sip of my tea?
Oh,
what is it?
There's so many ideas out there.
Oh, there are so many ideas. And thank everyone that's been texting us, telling us, saying, hey, look, here's something you should do. Because the Dimwit Dialogues, Wayne and I will kind of recreate, right? Recreate some of the drama, right, Wayne? Some of the things that go behind the scenes in newsrooms before they come out with their talking points, right?
Yeah, and I'm having trouble a tough time trying to decide on the graphics for this one.
Well, anybody, if you want to give us a text or drop us a line, you can head on over to, Wayne, we got email set up over at radiobride.com. There's a drop-down menu. If you have an idea as to what the dimwit dialogues, what the logo should look like, there's another one we have coming. Don't forget, we have Return to Vendor. That's another one Wayne is going to be working on here. So
Thank
we'll have
you,
the
Brian.
dimwit. I'm sorry?
Thank you, Brian.
Oh, you're welcome, Wayne. Like how I throw you under the bus on live, whatever this is, live radio, internet, TV, whatever it is. So, right? How could we do what you suggest how the logo should look? Head on over to radiobride.com, mortalup.com would be a way to get there if you like. It's many avenues, right? It's like a traffic circle, Wayne. All kinds of different ways to get roundabouts, I think they call them in other states. All kinds of ways to get through the roundabout. You could go to brianbrawdy.com. You could go to All Natural Being, counterpunch.media. You get the gist. But that's something else that we're working on is the dim-wit dialogues to march hand in hand, no doubt, with the return to vendor segments on the show. All right, Wayne, because I'm really excited to get to this, let's go ahead and jump to our next segment, and then we'll get ready to round out the show. If you and I had just 60 seconds to catch up, I'd remind you that your passion is never past its prime. That if you're still here, you have some heads to turn. We've all had those days when the mirror, seeming anything but our best friend, reminding us that we've been crushed countless times, dreams dashed, one after another. We all know those times, indelibly etched in our memory, where the library of our past mishaps seems all too ready to guide our future forward. We all know what it's like when dealt the short end of the stick time and time again. We all know. Now, some turn away from their reflection, dejected, heads bowed, shoulders rounded, spirits crushed. But some defiantly stare the mirror down, summoning a gut-felt grit, rousing their authentic vigor, vowing never to be pushed around again. This is my new way forward. Today is the day I pull my spine from the stone, breathing new life into my vision, drawing my line in the sand. Today is the day that I choose to remember who I am, all that I am capable of, and that fate should go pick on someone else. Today is the day I swear to anyone that will listen, once and for all, I will mortal up. That should have been, Wayne, hey, if you got 120 seconds. It's a long elevator ride is all I'm saying, right? If I had an elevator pitch, what would I say to you? And it would be to open your eyes, to remember who you ultimately are. Don't buy into what's happened in the past. Don't buy into what other people think or say about you. Don't buy into all the excuses for sitting on the couch. Remember who you are and everything that you come with, so that no matter what befalls you, you're ready to square your shoulders and take action. Now, I've said before, and we'll highlight another one tomorrow, this is not about motivation. You know, and I know the motivation industrial complex, right? The higher consciousness cartel, all the other crap weasels out there running around trying to sell you a mindfulness program, trying to sell you, and whatever their mashugana is. The bottom line is, if you need to be motivated, you're on the wrong path, right? This isn't about motivation. It's about memory. It's about remembering who you ultimately are, what you're capable of, not what the liberal mainstream media does in an attempt to water you down, right? Because you and I have got to know by now that if you can be lured, if you can be called to some distant goal, it's easier for them to lead you. And all I'm suggesting is that this particular moment in all of time is the perfect time, the greatest day in the history of the world to be alive. Till tomorrow, which point that'll be the greatest day in the history of the world to be alive. Someone asked me on Spitter this morning, what's the one thing you're grateful for today? It was to be here, to be grateful in the first place. So regardless of all the mashugana, all the mania, all the drama, oh, I can't believe whoever wins, you and I are going to wake up the next day. We're going to channel our wild at the core. And by that wild at the core, I mean your authentic vigor, your buried logic, gut sense, if you will. I call it buried logic. Oh, just the combined bag of all your natural resources. You're going to rally those and make whatever happens. Make the best of it for you, your friends, your family. And that's the key to Mortal Up. When we did the logo, pulling the sword from the stone, that's your spine. Pulling your spine, and I know it's terribly Arthurian in terms of the legend, but pulling your spine from everything that's encased it so that it doesn't get a chance, right? Balsa wood spines. You don't see a lot of these balsa wood spines in the media running outside of their comfort zone, running outside of their safety net, right? All I'm simply suggesting is that, and here's the thing that I share with people closest to me. If you're not outnumbered, if you're not outmanned, outgunned, right? If you're not outplayed, why even get up off the couch? You and I do our best when everything is stacked against us. So it's easy to say, oh, yeah, well, times, they're uncertain. Every time is uncertain. Times are challenging. Every time is challenging. Forget all the retired generals that used to think one way, now feel another way. Forget all of it. Forget about, right, everyone saying, well, we don't believe you should have a gun. We don't believe you should protect your family. We believe you should substitute that karma on someone else in a police car racing to get to your defense. And since the topic came up earlier about the whole Second Amendment thing, right, now that Stan McChrystal, who once took an oath to defend the Constitution, is now saying, yeah, but I think I'm going to support someone that wants to reshape the Second Amendment. Oh, I'm going to appoint a bipartisan commission. That's Clueless Joe. Celebrity voices are impersonated. What was I talking about? Right. Oh, right. What? Oh, that's right. I'm going to appoint an independent commission to study whether we should pack the courts or not. All the brainiacs up in the Senate running around going, you're going to regret this. You're going to regret this. And if ever you wanted a crybaby to take their ball and go home, last night was it. Go home already. But for you, for me, for the people that are important to us, we don't have the ability to just pack it in. We're going to stand. We're going to square our shoulders with fate. And we're going to live out our destiny however it unfolds. And that's today's Mortal Up Minute. I had 120 seconds in an elevator pitch for today. All right, Wayne, I know we got a bunch of people to thank, including everyone at counterpunch.media and Certifiable Brilliance. What are you thinking, Wayne? What are some of the things that I forgot to cover? Right, I'm subject to amnesia from time to time. Any things that I forgot to cover today? What's going on?
Well, I don't think there's really anything you can say that you forgot to cover because things are changing so often.
I know, right?
And so fast.
They are. I love it. Here's the thing I was going to say about the Second Amendment, though. I didn't want to, right? Why let truth taint the process? But all I've ever wanted is a level playing field. If I could today go like that, just snap, and every weapon that launches a projectile could be gone. And we had a Second Amendment for clubs. We had a Second Amendment for swords. We had a Second Amendment. Here's where I'm getting to since we're running out of time. All I want is a level playing field. If the state has machine guns, we get machine guns. If you're going to restrict the state to patrol the streets with compound bows, now I know you said, oh, bribe, but that's a projectile. Okay, so firearms, anything that uses gunpowder, right? But if you could erase them all I want is a level playing field. If the state is going to be armed with slingshots, then we get to be armed with slingshots. If the state is going to be armed with X, whatever X is, all I'm calling for, Wayne, is a level playing field.
Absolutely.
Because that's all the Constitution really wanted. People say, well, the Constitution never envisioned a law's rocket. I don't give a crap. If the state, the government, trains everyone, because of their inability to do any kind of diplomacy overseas, they got to train soldiers to go over there and use law's rockets. But once the soldiers get back and get out, oh, no, it's illegal to have a law's rocket. If the state has a law's rocket, we should have a law's rocket. Whatever weapons the state uses to keep us in line, we should have access to those same weapons. And if you don't like that, then just admit you're willing to have other people adopt the karma of protecting your timid little butt. And we'll go from there. All right, Wayne, I know we got to get ready to get out of here. Let me thank everyone again at YouTube, at Twitter, here on Facebook. I've been kind of watching the feed today. Thank you so much for everything. If you're listening in on RadioBry.com, thank you so very much. We're coming up with all kinds of cool ideas to market Radio Bry, market Mortal Up. We'll have some more to talk about that. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. If you're listening to the taped broadcast of the show, thank you so very much. Over on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, of course, our launchpad, IPMNation.com, thanking the good folks over there as well. So until we get the chance to hang again, don't buy into the Meshuggah. You're better than all of it. You're most certainly better than someone that goes thumbs down, says hell no, and storms out because she didn't get her way, because they didn't get their way. And remember that even though they're elected, they don't rule over us without our permission. They can't exercise a single thought without our express permission. So maybe it's time. Open your eyes. Are you certain that's what you want to have happen? That's how you should vote. Vote with your heart. Vote with your gut. But don't vote. I would submit. Don't vote for the cult of personality. Vote for the policies. They're going to be the best for you, your friends, and your family. All right, Wayne, we are out. Thank you so much for everything, brother.
You have a good day.
You too. Farewell.
Thanks for listening to The Brian Brawdy Show. Until next time, get out there and mortal up.